Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here with you all today. With me, I have a very special guest. Laura DiFranco is the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where they specialize in publishing and business strategy with healers. Laura has a 30-year background in holistic physical therapy, 14 years training in martial arts, and has published over 20 Amazon best-selling books, including 9 of her own. She's also a spoken word poet, a lover of dark chocolate. Laura, you and I have something in common too with that, and has a contagious passion of sharing brave words and help you build your business. As bravehealer.com is her website info. And so I'm so excited to have you today, Laura, to speak to our audience and just to learn so much more from you. Welcome, Laura, to our show of Wealth Being, How to Generate Profit While Creating Impact. Welcome, Laura, to our show.
Thank you very much for having me. What a great subject. I can't wait to get into this today.
Yes. So let's begin. All of us, I do believe, is destined to do what we love. And so let's start with your story. How did you come about to start doing what you do? And how did it all begin? And how did you land here, Laura?
Well, my story is kind of two-part because the front end of my career was physical therapy. And then everybody's going to have their before and after COVID story, right? So I started Brave Healer Productions. It's been 7 years ago now. And in the period of the 5 years, from when I started it to COVID, I was like, oh, maybe I want to transition. I don't know if I can. I don't want to leave the physical therapy. I was just like afraid to make the leap. Okay. And then about a week after COVID, shut my business down. And I was like, oh my gosh, a little bit in a panic. I just had to laugh because it was like the universe saying, you've been waiting way too long to do this. Like, I'm going to shove you off the cliff now, and you're going to go ahead and grow your wings and everything will be okay. But I woke up dreaming a dream. And on March 20th of 2020, the dream was, you need to put a collaborative book together with all your healer friends, and let's teach the world how to heal at home, because we had just lost our hands-on healers like in a day, and 48 hours after I wrote a little note to my friends, I had 24 people say, yes, I want to help you do that. And 5 weeks later, we birthed our first collaborative book onto Amazon. #1 bestseller. It was amazing. And like the publishing piece of my business is now 2 years old. And it has been growing ever since. And the beginning of my company back in 2016, I was doing 2 businesses, a little afraid to make the leap, but at this point I can happily report we're good to go. There's a little more to that story, but I'll pause and we'll see what else we want to talk about today.
Yes. So I would love to hear, yes, that like the background story is super fun, especially when you had this dream of doing that. And it's, if I am remembering correctly, I believe March 20th was, like some type of a shutdown in our Northern Virginia area.
Pretty much.
That's crazy.
Yes.
And so let's back it up a little bit. What I believe what led you to want to speak about healing and collaborating with people, there's a core to that. Like, what brought you into physical therapy, and what really launched you off into even starting your business before, really publishing with other authors?
Yes. I mean, the health and wellness field was always the thing for me. And I can really take you back to being a teenager and knowing that I wanted to help people. And I was very interested in sports and injuries and understanding the body and how it worked and peak performance and all of that. So I love looking back at those actually early days. I listened to a speaker at my high school, and we could sign up at lunchtime to listen to different speakers. And it was a physical therapist that one day. And I got so inspired after she talked about what she did. I literally decided that day that that's what I was going to become. So that was a very, very early piece of just wanting to help people and finding the exact right way to do it. Right. But over the time of being a physical therapist and then opening my own business and creating that environment that I wanted, I learned so much, I mean, you learn so much on the journey. Just having a business is a self-development journey, right? And then I just realized I wanted to pay it forward. Honestly, I had been writing and self-publishing books and blogging and building my business and learning all of these things. And I wanted to grab my healer friends and just say, hey, let me show you what I've learned. And Brave Healer Productions really was born from that desire to share my tips and tricks and strategies for business building and writing, publishing, and all of the things that I had been doing. So there it is.
Yes, no, I love it. And I really feel like this really is one of the reasons why this show, to be honest, is that, sometimes when we're doing what we're doing, especially when you just got inspired from just listening to the one speech, we just really never know how far the impact goes. Like we talk about the ripple effect, right? Like, I don't know if you ever went back to tell that speaker, it's like, hey, because of yours, things like that.
I
So
know.
I really truly believe that all of us have a story, and ultimately I have a background in health and wellness as well. Honestly, the health and wellness field, or that space, actually saved my life. I mean, I suffered from burnt out, etc., depression, you name it. And that saved me. And I so believe that every single person, especially this past 2 years, really need to learn how they can really take care of themselves, right? Whether it's from a physical level or a mental level, etc. But then being in that space, then you can create that difference and create that impact. And I love your story, because none of that has anything to do with, oh, I have to make a profit, right? Like I have to create a business that's going to make me money. But that's the whole point of our show and our conversation today, is really start with the true core, I guess, calling, what, someone would like to say, or passion, and whatever it may be, and really listening to that. And by you doing that as an example of what it really means to build wealth from within with what you already know, and sharing that with others. And our audience are mostly entrepreneurs, so they can definitely relate to having a business with you. And most of them are also, or more than half, are holistic health professionals. So for some of us, I know when I first started, I didn't really see the value in what it is that we do as a company. But the more I really just stayed on the journey, as you mentioned, then I realized, wow, okay, it's really an option here for me to continue creating that impact while generating, the profit. So I love that. So Laura, tell us more about what you're working now, and then what you're working on, how the audience can find you, and what's next, with this collaborative effort.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm always doing a lot, and I'll typically overwhelm people if I go into my list of what's going on. You made me think of something that I wanted to share. Can I share a quick story for you all?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
You talked about alignment, and when you're aligned with joy, then the abundance comes. And everyone headed towards abundance first and not their joy is going to find a blockage somewhere. So I call it my joyometer. Like if I'm really feeling good about what I'm doing and passionate and the joy is there, and then I share from that high vibe place, I don't have to worry about the money. It's just, that's the flow. That's the result of that alignment. Right. So I wanted to say that one comment back to you. And then when I started the current business, something really amazing happened to me. I had a woman reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, total stranger at the time. And she was just like, hey, I read one of your blogs. I've been struggling a little bit with depression. I was wondering if you could send me some more links. And of course I was like, oh yeah, like I had written 300 blogs by then. And I was just like, yeah, of course, let me send you a few. But I wrote a blog for her, dedicated it to her in the meantime. Like I kind of went off to the side and wrote a little something special. And I invited my audience who I knew were entrepreneurs and healers and moms. I learned that she was a mom of 5 and she had been just struggling with depression. And I invited my audience to step up in the comments there of the blog to give her some love. And through this whole thing, what I didn't realize, I only got the story afterward, was that she had actually been planning the suicide note she'd write to her husband and 5 children. So you guys, you never know who you're touching in that one moment. If that is all I ever do with my writing, it will have been enough, right? So that's why behind my company is share your brave words, because you're going to change or even save a life with them. And everything that we're doing nowadays, just to get you into the question you just asked me, has that as the foundation. We are publishing at least probably more than a dozen collaborative books in this year, in 2022. We are doing programs for healers who want to learn to be a better writer and who want to learn how to catapult their business, because it matters to me if we are thriving or not, right? We're out there helping the world feel good, heal from their wounds, physical, emotional, mental. And I want those people to thrive. So that's my ripple. I'm going to help you do that.
Yes, no, I think it's fantastic. And I can relate to the little stories of, yeah, we just never know how far it goes. And ultimately, why you're speaking on this show is for that reason. Like if all of us can do what we're doing right now, is share information, share to you brave words, right? Yeah, this is the impact. And in that, we all can then generate profits together. It doesn't have to always be monetary. It's like a piece of wisdom like this, how you were able to save this woman from, taking her own life. It's tremendous. So where do you, honestly, let's switch gears. I would love to hear, Laura, with being so generous with what you do and all of that. Where do you feel like the future of health and wellness, considering I wouldn't say we're getting out of the pandemic, but we're still going through the pandemic, second year now. Where do you see the future of health and wellness, Paul?
Well, the first thing that came to me when you asked that was that it's going to be a collaborative and integrated effort. And rather than trying to piece part people into literal body parts and you've got back pain, so I'm going to go ahead and try to fix your back pain. It's about looking at the whole person, both the whole body, but the whole body, mind, and soul of the person. So when our healthcare gets more collaborative and integrated, you're going to see people feeling better faster for longer and being able to do amazing things in their lives and really reach their dreams and goals. And that's a short answer for, what could be a really long answer in terms of, where I see that. But I believe at least the healers in my circle are stepping up like that in terms of offering holistic solutions that don't piece part you, right? We have to look at the whole person. So that's what came to me.
I love it. And especially, it sounds like you stand for holistic health. It's mental, spiritual, emotional, and also, physical. So
all of it.
Yes.
Yes. And those are the books we're publishing. So I do niche my business. That's my mission, is to put out the words from the people who are, doing that kind of thing, holistic health and wellness and all of the ways. That's how I feel we're really changing the world, is getting those words out there, and the work of these healers, their messages, their master tools,
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. And again, like on behalf of the listeners, myself, my team, and everybody that's going to be listening to this, thank you to you for doing what you do, because, books, if anything, if anyone can get on books, and if more people will get to read more about stories of these healers this is how we can make that big difference. So speaking of which, if someone wanted to publish a book, would I be able to direct them to you, or what are the steps in terms of if they want to work with you, like how would that engagement look like?
There's a lot of ways to explore Brave Healer Productions, and you can reach out. We can have a chat about what you're doing and what you need. And maybe you need some coaching. Maybe you want to self-publish, or maybe you're looking for a hybrid publisher, which is what I'm considered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a business, you pay me a fee for those publishing services. And if you're looking to get traditionally published, you're going to have to think about your book proposal and landing an agent and shopping the traditional publishers, right? There's so much in this spectrum of publishing, but what I love to do is answer questions, help sort of boost you into the first step of asking you where you're at, and then I can tell you, what's the next thing for you. So anyone can reach out through bravehealer.com. You can contact me. We can set up a chat, and you'll also find all kinds of services and different things on the website.
Awesome. And last but not least, I asked all of the speakers the same question, but if you had one thing that is tangible, or that is, I guess, one quick takeaway they can apply. And really, I think for your topic is staying in alignment, with who they are and what the impact they want to create in the world. What is the one step that they can take to get them there?
Well, remembering every day, this is a mindset practice, okay? That fear of not good enough, it's a purpose-driven fear, and it is boring. So when you wake up into this mindset, that fear of not good enough that I feel, this is boring. It's not about me anymore, right? So now I'm talking to your listeners. It's not about you anymore. It's about the person whose life will change when you step over that fear and share your words and your message out loud in the world in a bigger way. So that might be more than one step there, but that's really it for me. That's what drives my business every single day.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Yes, it's all about, especially women too. We always look at the other person, what's the next business owner doing, or what the other mom doing down the street. But it's really remembering, yes, like impact has nothing to do. I think that's a reminder for myself too. Thank you, Laura. That impact has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with this person here, but it's more about what's out there. And thanks so much for that reminder and that mindset practice. That comes up quite often. And being able to know that and being okay with it, I think it's so great. So thank you again so much for what you do, who you are, and what you're about. And it's been an honor to have you on our show, and just your heart is so generous, and what you do is so amazing. And yes, I stand for all of the health and wellness professionals out there, and ultimately whoever it is that is up for big change, check out Laura DiFranco and her publishing company. If you have brave words to share with the world, I highly recommend it. Please check her out. It's bravehealers.com is the website. And thanks again, Laura, for being with us. It's been so much fun, and I wish you the best in your journey with your publishing company and raising the blaze with all of the healers out there. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Dee Dee. Have a great one. I'm so glad to be on the show, and thanks to everyone for tuning in too.
Thank you.